So, dear brothers and sisters, I love today's gospel. I'm not sure if you noticed, there's a nice part and then a sudden change. So, the nice part of the gospel, Jesus goes back to his hometown, Nazareth, and you can imagine there's a bit of a celebration, like the man comes back home and he's of age now, and he has this healing and teaching ministry, and now he's home, so everyone's kind of excited to see him and to meet him. And he's given the scroll, and he reads from Isaiah 61, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me, sent me to bring good news to the poor, sight to the blind, set the downtrodden free." And everyone's, we love that reading. Yeah, that's a happy reading, it's a good reading. The Lord has come to make everything good. Fantastic. And then he says, this text is being fulfilled even today as you listen. Hang on now, just a sec. What exactly are you saying? See, we hear these texts and it's so normal for us, but Jesus goes to, if you went to your hometown, or you went back home and you read this, "The Spirit of the Lord has been given to me, if the Lord has anointed me," and then you say to your family, this is being fulfilled now in your presence. Can you imagine your family saying, what are you talking about? Who do you think you are? The Spirit of the Lord has been given to me. This is obviously God speaking. So what are you saying? And yet there's astonishment. There's kind of acceptance. They're interested in what Jesus is doing and saying. Okay, but then things start to change. He says, "No doubt you will quote me the saying, 'Physician, heal yourself.'" And then he says, "No prophet is ever accepted in his hometown." Then, okay, so that's not great, but now Jesus just goes very far the other direction. He has their favor, but rather than encourage that or deepen that, he gives two examples that are going to drive them against him. He gives two, really, in our modern terms, two politically incorrect examples. So the Jews were very proud of their own nation, of their own people, of their own prophets, and so on. And then he tells an example from Elijah, who when it says heaven was shut for 3 years and 6 months, that means obviously it didn't rain for 3 years and 6 months. There was a drought, there was a famine. And Elijah wasn't sent to help any of the Jews, but he was sent to a widow at Zarephath in Sidon, right, a Sidonian town, not in Judea or Israel. Okay, so he's sent to a foreigner. Now you can imagine people going, "Hey, what are you saying?" And then Jesus doesn't stop there, and he says, "And in Elisha's time, when there were many lepers in Israel, none of them were cured by Elisha, but Naaman, who was a Syrian." Syrians, incidentally, they invaded Israel and destroyed it. So, you can imagine, maybe for our various countries, wherever you're from, we can imagine a similar story, for us. If in Ireland during the famine, there were many hungry people, but the Lord wasn't sent to any of the Irish starving, but maybe to pardon the modernizing the story, but he was sent to a red coat. You can imagine what Jenny does. What? We weren't praying. Why would you? Again, I have nothing against our neighbours, but just this is how it would have been heard at the time. So Jesus, and then what happens then? They want to kill him. So he goes from having their favor, they hang on us everywhere. They're what's the word again? Astonished by the graciousness that came from his lips, right? But rather than be fascinated by that, rather than need that, he tells examples that turn them against him. They want to kill him. They bring him to the brow of the hill on which the town was built to throw him off the cliff. And then he's able to, maybe as such, kind of disappear. Maybe it's a sort of a miracle where he passes through the crowd and they lose him in the crowd. Okay, what's the point? Jesus didn't come to be popular. And he doesn't cultivate popularity. When he is popular, he doesn't kind of hold on to it carefully and jealously and try to maintain that popularity and grow his popularity. In contemporary social media circles, this is the point of everything. On YouTube or on Facebook or on Instagram, on Snapchat, your goal is to try and be as popular as possible, to try and have as many friends as possible, try and get as many likes as possible, to try and increase your number of subscribers and all that kind of thing. You have to be popular. The goal is to, whatever you do, be popular. And then in business, the goal is, when you advertise your product, the goal is to be popular. That's how you stay in business, be popular. You want people to buy your product, to like your product, that your product has a certain image associated with it. You have to be popular. And then, on a personal level, we like being popular. We like when people like us. We like when we come into a room and go, oh, people say, oh, it's great to see you. Thank God you're here. You know, we like that. It's nice. It's nice. So, is popularity wrong? What's the issue here? Okay. I think the way to understand this is it's a question of priorities. It's not bad to be popular, but it is bad if popularity is my ultimate goal. I mean, if people like you, it's not okay, you can't help it. You're fantastic. Sure, who wouldn't like Nora? Sure, she's amazing. Who wouldn't like Miriam? You know what I mean, you can't help but like them. They're just nice people. They don't have to do something terrible now in order to not be nice. They're just nice people, so they're popular. There's no problem. No sin there. But the danger would be if everything they do is to be popular. So in order to be popular, I'll compromise. Now, even today, compromise is considered compromise is considered a good thing. Not necessarily. It depends on what you're compromising on. You know, so let's murder is bad, but look, it happens. So a little murder is okay. Of course not. You don't compromise on moral issues, and never. You don't. That's not how you maintain like a good society. Let's just compromise. Let's tolerate just a little bit of murder or a little bit of rape every now and again. Sure, look, what can you do? No, of course not. We don't make compromises on moral issues, ever. So, popularity isn't the problem. The problem is if popularity is my goal. Jesus doesn't care about popularity. Jesus is very confident in his own identity. I am the beloved Son of God the Father. I don't need anyone else's approval. I don't need anybody's validation. I don't need people's applause. I'm confident in who I am. That's something I think it's such a lesson. It seems like a relatively simple gospel, but I think for our modern world and for modern young people especially, when we are confident in our identity as beloved sons and daughters of God, then it just shouldn't matter to us what people think. And that's why today I have such admiration for modern young people who are faithful Catholics, because they live this gospel. If you're a modern, so like even when I was young, it was normal to go to Mass, and that's only 25-ish years ago. It was normal to go to Mass. I mean, practically everybody went. In the 90s, almost everyone went to Mass. That has changed a lot now. So if a young person now goes to Mass regularly or attends a prayer group or something, they're different, and they know it. So it's harder. So it requires more courage. So there's more merit in it. There's more merit in a young person now who attends a youth group or goes to Mass regularly. They're doing something counterculture, so there's more merit in that for them. Because they could court popularity, just do what everyone else is doing. Yeah, stupid church. Yeah, stupid religion. Yeah, who'd believe in God anyway? Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They could do that. It'll make them more popular, guarantee you. But they have the courage to say, no, I believe in God, and I go to Mass, and I actually have this youth group. And it's great fun, great people there. And I head out to a summer camp, and there were nuns there, and they were sound. I mean, it takes courage to do any of that. So it's okay to be popular if you want. I mean, but the goal is never popularity on its own. And especially if that requires compromise in order to get there. Like, think of a priest. If my vocation is not to be popular, at the same time, I shouldn't make you all hate me. my goal, but my priority has to be to faithfully teach what the Lord teaches. To try and make it comprehensible, and to always unsully the face of God, to clean the face of God. If his image has been dirtied by people's misunderstanding, people see cancer and say, why would God allow this? It's my job to try and understand that and try and clarify it. Unsully the face of God. But if I live my vocation in a way that I just want to be popular, then I'll avoid all the hard topics, I'll avoid all the difficult topics, and I'll just keep telling everyone that they're fantastic. We had a German teacher when I was at school. I won't say what school. She gave no homework, and she had no control of the class. And everyone who wanted to do nothing chose German. Now, German's actually a hard language. So that was all fun and games until the junior cert came. And now you present it with a test. And you haven't a clue. Honestly, no idea. Is this written in Cyrillic? What? No idea. Umlaut? What? Where? Dots everywhere. There's no idea. So everyone chose the class, and it was great crack. And we all failed. On the other hand, there was a maths teacher. She was tough. She actually said, I'm not even going to check your homework. We'll correct our homework together. If you don't do it, that's on you. If you want to fail, I don't really care. And I worked hard. I think I always did my homework. She was in senior cycle. For the 2 years, 5th and 6th year, I never once didn't do my homework, even though she never checked it. Because she was right. She said, I'm not here to babysit you. You're going to college in 2 years' time. She said, think professors are going to babysit you? Grow up. If you don't want to do your homework, I don't care. But in this class, we work. And we did well. Do you know what I mean? So at times, telling people what they want to hear in order to court popularity, that is not what God wants. I mean, I can do it today. Let's just talk about green politics. Let's go plant trees, people. Let's recycle our bottles. And I mean, how intensely boring. Everyone is saying that. People don't come to church to hear about recycling. How cowardly it is to preach about this kind of stuff. We come to hear about God and his heart because we're going to hear it nowhere else. We have to specialize as priests in what only we can give. Everyone else is talking about green politics. Leave them at it. Leave them. They're better at it. They know more about it. I don't really care. People come here to hear about God and his heart and his plan for their lives and how we can get closer to him. And we're the only ones who will talk about this. That's our speciality. We're not here to court popularity. We're here to be faithful. Fidelity over everything. That's our number one priority. Fidelity to God, faithfulness to him. If we become popular on the way, fine. There's probably a point in our lives when that popularity is going to wane or disappear completely anyway. So look, it's only temporary. You can't live for popularity. Live for fidelity. That's where the fruit is born. So we ask the Lord today that we can imitate him in his confidence, in his identity as the beloved Son of God, and therefore doesn't need people's validation or affirmation, and that we will never court popularity. If we happen to be popular, great. But the most important thing, our number one priority, is fidelity. Amen.